Welcome to the Reinsurance Podcast at TMPAA. I am joined with Kevin O'Connor, Chief Production Officer at Everspan Group. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you very much for having me today.
We're just getting started at TMPAA right now, but how are you sort of finding the conference so far? This is your 24th conference, I think you said.
This is my 24th conference. I missed the first one. I came to the second one. There was about 400 people, and now Gene told me that there's 1,800 people registered today for this conference. It's amazing how it's grown over those 24 years, both in carrier and MGAs, and how the whole program space has grown during that period of time.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And so when you think about your role in Everspan, what is the thing that draws you most, one, to TMPAA, but two, to Dallas this year? What are you trying to get out of it with the role that you have?
So as Chief Production Officer and Head of Business Development at Everspan Group, my role is to get out there and deliver the Everspan message. And the Everspan message is that we are an active insurance company looking to write program MGA business with quality managing general agents supported by high quality reinsurers. So while I'm here today, I'm speaking to managing general agents that we do business with, potential managing general agents that we'd like to do business with, reinsurers that support us, and potential reinsurers. So it's a potpourri of opportunity for Everspan Group.
It's really interesting because you're highlighting this sort of fluidity of the entire chain, right? You're working with the best-in-class MGAs who wants to support there, but also recognizing that the reinsurers on the other end will also play a role in this being a really effective way to do business.
It is a dynamic food chain when you think about it. You've got the insured, you've got the retailer, the wholesaler, the MGA, the reinsurance broker, the reinsurer, the TPA, the premium finance company. They're all here. Everybody I just named is here, and they're all necessary to do program MGA business. Every one of those people have an important role in what we do.
We're sort of seeing as an industry-wide trend this acceleration of MGAs being like a core player, an increasingly core player. Over the time that you've sort of spent in your role, like, how have you seen that being evolved, and what's driving the real interest that you're seeing with MGA and program business now?
I think there's a couple things there. The carriers want to play in the MGA space because it's a way for them to get scale very quickly. You can go to an MGA and you can give a delegated authority and you can write $40, $50, $100 million in a quick period of time. So the carriers are very much interested in that. The reinsurers, similar. The reinsurers want to find ways to get into the U.S. market at an effective, efficient way for them. And what's a way to do it? Behind a carrier doing specialty program business, they can get and pick and choose the business that they like. And lastly, MGAs today are a lot better than they were 15, 20, 30 years ago. The technology, the professionalism. Most MGAs have carrier or reinsurance people running them. They have great systems. They have high quality organizations. It's really evolved in a very positive sense over the last 20, 30 years.
And are you seeing that evolution drawing in more capacity from the reinsurers? Are the reinsurers representing a larger proportion of attendees now as this begins to be more of an interesting area for them?
Yes, absolutely. I think that, you got the carriers. There's 103 carriers registered for this, insurance carriers. And the reinsurers, I think there's 30 reinsurers that are here. I've personally already met with 2 reinsurers, and the target market's just started. So it is very, very attractive to them, and they've come a big place.
If we sort of look forward for the next couple of years, both the end of the year event that TMPAA puts on, as well as sort of the next couple of years, what are the trends that you'll see that you think will continue to accelerate?
Well, I think that the MGA space is going to continue to grow. I've read some things recently. People say it might have plateaued. I believe it's $125 billion in gross written premium right now, or thereabouts. Then if you take the captives, that's about $150 billion, and the ILS is another $150 billion. So there's plenty of space for the MGA program players to play. Another area for growth for the MGAs is going to be mining the data of the aggregators. And a lot of the transaction wholesalers have program units and have all this data. 10 years ago, they didn't have the technology to get that data. Today they do. I think that's a really big space there.
Do you think that will drive the creation of new products into the market and better ways to sort of solve end consumer and customer needs? Like leveraging that data to introduce to new types of offerings?
I think that could, like cyber wasn't around 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I think that could introduce new products, but I think that the companies are doing it, the aggregators are doing it to increase their revenue.
Yeah.
They're looking at a transaction revenue fee of 5 or 6% to an MGA fee of 24%.
Yeah.
So that's a big market.
So it's a rapidly evolving
area.
Yeah. And then you mentioned in passing a little bit the role of ILS and alternative capital.
Oh yeah.
That space continues to grow, and
it does.
One of the challenges that space has always faced is how do they access risk, right? Because the capital obviously wants to get involved, but the barrier is to how do they get to the risk at the end of the chain, and this becomes a really compelling opportunity for them as well.
Absolutely. So you see a lot of the alternative capital comes in behind the fronting type carriers.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to take any risk, and the capital really drives the bus on that, if you will.
Yep.
The capital can set the terms, and as long as they're posting collateral and or parental guarantees, a lot of people will want to play ball and step into that field.
And is that changing a bit of how Everspan thinks of their strategy and what you're trying to do as you look at, again, the journey that you guys have been on and how you grow? Is ILS and third-party capital becoming more of a player in that strategy?
It's more than it was 2 years ago, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, our company began as a front, if you will, then a participatory front, now a specialty program insurance company.
Yeah.
And that's in a 4-year period.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we had zero exposure to collateralized markets. Today we have limited. And we would love to have some strategic relationships with some high quality ILS people that wanted to play with us.
Yeah.
Yes, we would love to do that.
Well, I think that really hammers home the excitement of this conference is that dynamism, that sort of ability for people to sort of very quickly follow the trends of what's happening in this space and calibrate to meet the needs of end clients and be better partners for reinsurers or third-party capital providers. It really highlights how dynamic this industry can be at its core.
Oh yeah, for 100%. And you look at the ILS, they had a conference in New York. I think there was 400 people at it about 2 months ago. It is a big area for the fronting, and they want to deploy that alternative capital. They want to deploy into the insurance space because we're one of the solid, good investments. Warren Buffett doesn't have a lot of his assets in insurance for a wrong reason.
Yeah,
there's good decision making here, and there's good ways to make a profit in the insurance business.
Yeah. Is there any particular category or sector that you're most interested in watching as the MGAs continue to sort of lean into things? I know we saw cyber being a big one for a while. You're seeing more MGAs in like motors, specialty motor spaces. Are there categories that interest you more than others?
Us at Everspan?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that we would like to see more professional liability, E&O, D&O. We'd like to see environmental specialty contractors. I mean, a lot of people are looking at motor cars and wheels and stuff like that. We've written some. We would look at some specialty type haulers, but commercial auto is not something that we're targeting at this point.
Yeah.
But it's something that if for the right opportunity, we'd certainly look at and evaluate it. Yeah.
Well, I think there's so many aspiring entrepreneurs that are, as you sort of outlined earlier, who are leaving the industry to go set up and establish MGAs. Being aware of what kind of businesses are really interesting to providers like you, it allows them to sort of go, okay, we can spin up a business model here, a tech strategy, a tech stack here to go after these sectors. So highlighting those areas of interest is always a really powerful way to get that message out as well.
Yeah, you're right. Like people may leave a carrier to go to like a rideshare type operation or something like that. And you are seeing a lot of high quality underwriting people leaving the carrier side, getting attracted to the MGA space because of economics. They own an MGA and they build it up and they sell it. They're going to make, multiples on EBITDA. They're not going to get a bonus from the carrier. They're going to make multiples on EBITDA.
Yeah.
So it's life-changing money.
Yeah. Well, and it shows as well why the MGAs have historically been so effective at capturing talent and bringing in technology in ways that maybe the big traditional carriers haven't been as effective at, and that's okay, but it allows them to sort of really lean into that space and then partner with capital providers who can really efficiently and effectively manage the capital side to build a really powerful synergy.
You hit the nail on the head. Most standard insurance carriers don't have the ability to move fast and be creative. They'd like to, but there's so many layers that they have to overcome. With a smaller company, an MGA, they have the ability to target a particular class, come up with a good design, execute a product, and then distribute that product rather quickly.
Yeah.
Where on the company side, it could take them years to do that, and MGA could deliver something like that in 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
So those are game changers for them, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. No, it shows why this is such an exciting conference and why you guys are so excited and continue to sort of come back year after year.
Yes.
So perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Kevin, and we look forward to seeing you at next year's event or maybe one
You'll see
later
me in
the
the fall.
year. Look forward to it.
Absolutely, Jen.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.